Hey Commanders fans, the Washington Commanders are on a mission to keep improving, making big moves to bring this team closer to a Super Bowl run. If you're excited about the direction this franchise is heading, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest Commanders news. Now, let's talk about the blockbuster move that has everyone talking. The acquisition of wide receiver Deebo Samuel and how it's tied to the earlier trade for Marshon Lattimore. The trade for Deebo Samuel has drawn mixed reactions from fans and analysts alike. Some see it as a championship-caliber move, bringing an explosive playmaker to Washington's offense. Others believe that general manager Adam Peters might have overpaid for a 29-year-old receiver. But here's what we know. Washington believes in this move, and they see Samuel as a player who can elevate the team to new heights in 2025. ESPN's Field Yates pointed out an interesting fact that should make fans feel even better about the trade. Washington originally acquired the 5th-round pick they sent to San Francisco as part of the Marshon Lattimore trade with the Saints. So, in reality, the Commanders essentially got Deebo Samuel and Marshon Lattimore for just a 2025 3rd-round pick, a 4th-round pick, and a 6th-round pick. That's an incredible deal when you consider the value of these two players. Marshon Lattimore is a 4-time Pro Bowler and a lockdown cornerback who gives the Commanders a legitimate CB1. Deebo Samuel is one of the most versatile and dynamic offensive weapons in the NFL, capable of lining up as a receiver, running back, and even a gadget player. For a team looking to build on a 12-win season and a deep playoff run, this is exactly the type of move that could push Washington over the top. There's no doubt that Deebo Samuel is an elite playmaker when healthy. He's tough, physical, and brings an attitude that will resonate with the fan base. Over the last few seasons, we've seen him dominate defenses both as a receiver and a runner. Washington needed another game-changing offensive weapon to pair with Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and quarterback Jaden Daniels, and Samuel fits that mold perfectly. Of course, there are concerns. Samuel has dealt with injuries throughout his career, and his numbers dipped last season. But when he's on the field, he's a nightmare for defenses. Pairing him with a young, mobile quarterback like Jaden Daniels could rejuvenate his career and give Washington one of the most dangerous offensive trios in the league. While the Commanders ultimately completed the Samuel trade using draft picks, reports suggest that Washington initially discussed a straight-up swap between Samuel and defensive tackle Jonathan Allen. San Francisco reportedly backed off due to Allen's $21 million cap hit for 2025. Instead of including Allen in the deal, Washington pivoted and sent a 5th-round pick to complete the trade. But this raises another question. What's next? For Jonathan Allen, Allen has made it clear that he wants a fresh start. The Commanders have given his representatives permission to explore trade options, and it's only a matter of time before he's moved. Washington has Darren Payne and rookie Johnny Newton anchoring the defensive line, and trading Allen would free up nearly $16, $47 million in cap space. Allen's market isn't entirely clear, but multiple contending teams are interested in adding a Pro Bowl caliber defensive tackle. The Commanders have been aggressive this offseason, and Adam Peters is expected to keep working the phones to find the best possible deal. Former Chargers linebacker Shawnee Merriman recently spoke to NFL Analysis and shared his thoughts on what the Commanders need to do this offseason. He believes adding a dominant pass rusher like Myles Garrett could immediately turn Washington into a Super Bowl contender. If the Commanders go out and get someone like a Myles Garrett this offseason, that could instantly put these guys back in contention, Merriman said. That's a bold statement, but it makes sense. Garrett, a former number 1 overall pick, has been one of the most feared defensive players in the league since entering the NFL in 2017. He has an elite combination of speed, strength, and technique that makes him a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. The Cleveland Browns are coming off a disastrous 3-14 season, tied for the worst record in the NFL alongside the Titans and Giants. Despite being under contract through 2026, Garrett has reportedly requested a trade, stating that his decision isn't about money, but rather about wanting a legitimate shot at a Super Bowl. With the Browns holding the number 2 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, they are in full rebuild mode. Trading Garrett for draft capital could be a logical move for Cleveland, and Washington might be one of the best fits for him. If Garrett truly wants a chance to compete for a Super Bowl, Washington is a great destination. The Commanders just made a deep playoff run, and with young stars like Jaden Daniels leading the way, this team is built for long-term success. Financially, Washington also has the flexibility to make this move. The Commanders have been smart with their cap space, and adding a superstar like Garrett wouldn't cripple their ability to sign other key players. If Washington is serious about landing Myles Garrett, it won't come cheap. The Browns would likely demand at least a first-round pick and additional assets in return. But given the impact Garrett could have on this defense, it could be worth it. Let's look at a possible trade package. Washington Commanders receive Myles Garrett. Cleveland Browns receive 2025 first-round pick, 2025 third-round pick, and 2026 conditional second-round pick. This might seem like a lot, but acquiring a generational talent like Garrett doesn't come easy. With defensive studs like Darren Payne and Johnny Newton already in Washington, adding Garrett could create one of the most dominant defensive lines in the NFL. Merriman admitted that even though he saw potential in Washington last year, he was still surprised by how well the team performed. "I think the Commanders were probably the biggest surprise," Merriman said. "We talk about Jaden Daniels and how good he is. He's really good. I didn't see them beating the Lions." He was referring to Washington's thrilling playoff victory over Detroit in the NFC divisional round. Many analysts had the Lions as Super Bowl favorites, but the Commanders shocked everyone with a dominant performance. Merriman pointed out that the Lions were missing key players in that game, but he still gave Washington credit for stepping up when it mattered most. Whether people want to say that it's because the Lions were banged up with injuries and missing a lot of guys, call it whatever you want. I did not see that happening, he said. "I thought they had no shot. They were going to get smoked, and I was wrong." That's high praise coming from a former All-Pro linebacker. The fact that Washington defied expectations last season only adds to the excitement for 2025. How a Garrett signing could change Washington's draft strategy. The Commanders hold the numbers 29 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. If they were to land a superstar like Garrett in free agency or via trade, it could completely shift their draft priorities. Instead of needing to find a pass rusher, they could focus on bolstering other areas of need, such as offensive line depth, or adding more playmakers on offense. With so many teams picking ahead of them, it's tough to predict exactly who will be available at number 29, but free agency signings like this give Washington more flexibility. Washington has already made major upgrades to the roster, but they might not be done yet. With Allen likely on his way out, the Commanders could look to add another defensive lineman, either through free agency or the draft. Some names to watch. Milton Williams, DT, Philadelphia Eagles. A versatile defensive lineman who fits Dan Quinn's scheme. Javon Kinlaw, DT, San Francisco 49ers, a former first-round pick who could thrive in a new environment. Draft prospects. The 2025 NFL Draft is loaded with talented defensive linemen who could fill Allen's role long-term. The Commanders are moving with purpose and urgency under Adam Peters. The addition of Deebo Samuel and Marshawn Lattimore gives Washington two high-impact, Pro Bowl-caliber players at a bargain price. While Jonathan Allen's departure seems inevitable, the Commanders are in a strong position to continue improving the roster. Now we want to hear from you. What do you think about the Commanders trading for Deebo Samuel? Do you think the team should trade Jonathan Allen or keep him? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Commanders HQ for all the latest news and updates. The 2025 season is shaping up to be something special, and we'll be here every step of the way. Hail to the Commanders!